All right, welcome to Cincinnati.com Sports Beyond the Stripes with Paul Daugherty, presented by JosephAuto.com. I'm Paul Dehner Jr., and we're here live at the Moorline Lager House tonight. All right. We got a pretty good crowd here. It's good to see everybody out. I assume everybody is drinking, so that's we got everybody in a good mood. Someone is definitely drinking, has been here since 3. Thank you. But we do have reason for people to cheer tonight because Dre Kirkpatrick is in the house, going to be with us tonight. And I've also got my friends here on the desk. Paul Daugherty, your name is on my shirt, and you've been doing this for 25 years. So we make you sit on the desk and wax poetic for us.
I'm capable of doing that after 25 years.
And
that's why they keep me around, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got Lindsay Patterson, pulse of the fan base and of the locker room, knows everything that's going on.
I don't know about that.
You're everywhere.
I tried. I'm everywhere, but I try to know everything.
Joe Reedy, #1 Bengals Twitter follow in the world.
In the world?
In the world. Although you've blocked some of them.
Yes.
Some of them had to go down, unfortunately, in a fit of rage. But we've got a lot to talk about. Bengals 42, Colts 28. Another one of those, I don't know, defining type wins. Doc, I'll start here. Is it okay to start using the Super Bowl phrase?
Sure. Yes. Yes, indeed. I think that was our guest.
I think he doesn't want us to use the Super Bowl
Not allowed
phrase.
to disagree with the host, Dre. That's rule number 1. No, I do. I think it is. We're talking about jockeying for playoff seeding. We're looking at what's going on in other places, namely New England, where Gronkowski is out again, namely Kansas City, that isn't playing as well as it did the first 9 or 10 weeks of the season. It is very legitimate to believe this team has a solid shot at getting a first-round bye.
Yep.
And then a home game. And then if you win that game, you're in the championship game. And if you win that game, I think after this week, what they did to a team that had a record that was identical to theirs, it's realistic to begin talking about that. To me, Paul, what concerns me the most is not Pittsburgh or Minnesota or Baltimore or playoff seeding or any of that. It's injuries. I mean, it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
I would rather, if I were a Bengal fan this week, I would rather them lose at Pittsburgh and come out of there unscathed than win the game and lose another starting player. It's getting crazy.
Well, but that comes to the depth of the roster that we've talked about with this team all year. They're better prepared to handle injuries than most every team in the NFL. We will learn about that again this weekend with our guest tonight, Dre Kirkpatrick, with Terrence Newman banged up, George Iloka going through the concussion protocol. Joe, with the current configuration, do you find it okay to start using the Super Bowl phrase with where the Bengals are at right now?
Or, Paul, we can use the alternate phrase, dare to dream. Dare to dream of being in New York on February 2nd. Dare to dream about a blizzard at MetLife Stadium. I mean, they're the 3rd seed right now. Possibly could get the 2nd seed. First round bye. We've seen this team with injuries to Leon Hall and Geno Atkins still continue to play well. Offense is starting to develop better. Yeah, I think we can start using that phrase. If national people are starting to use it a little bit, why can't local folks?
Well, the AFC is so wide open. And Lindsay, when you look around the rest of the AFC, there's a lot of teams with flaws, and it has to make some people start to say, why not the Bengals?
You know, I think after that win this past Sunday, you can say that because you look at the Colts. The injuries are definitely affecting the Colts. They're not adjusting as well as the Bengals have been. Kansas City falling after going undefeated. You know, they did have that huge win against the Redskins, let's be honest. You have the Patriots losing Gronk. I know that he was hurt in the beginning of the season. That's when the Bengals had beat them. But losing Gronk is huge for the Patriots. They can't afford that. So I think that this team, and you can bring up Super Bowl, I think this team is the best team to face the Denver Broncos. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. If you're going to use the Super Bowl word right now in the AFC, it comes down to who can go into Denver and win. Now, let me throw a few more stats at you. The last time that the Bengals were 6-0 at home? 1988. Last time they had a top 10 offense and defense? 1988. That we're seeing a lot of things that have not happened since the last roll. This team has a different look to them. The way they beat San Diego, the way they beat Indianapolis, convincingly. They did it very methodically by just being better. There was no trickery to this. There was no magic. This was them being the better team. When you do that to good teams, there's a belief that you can go into Denver and beat a Peyton Manning who's 9-11 in the playoffs.
Well, they dominated both sides of the line the other day. I thought that was key, Paul. They give Andy Dalton the clean pocket. He's pretty good. I don't think there's a coincidence between Andy having great games and Andy having a clean pocket. I think he needs a clean pocket more than most quarterbacks do. He's not great at extending plays. His field of vision needs to be clear for him to do what he did, and they've been able to give that to him the last 2 or 3 games. And as far as the Super Bowl, you know what? We're not in that locker room. We don't have to take them one game at a time, brother. We can sit here and shoot our mouths off, and then they gotta pay the check that we just delivered. You know what I mean?
We're actually paid not to take it one game at a time.
That's
I'm pretty
right.
sure we're paid to
That's
take
right.
it seasons ahead. You know, we always do the JoeSpillo.com drive of the game. I thought if you look at this past game and really in the big picture this season, 2 drives from this game stick out to me. Right when Indianapolis cuts it to 21-14. You see 6 plays, 60 yards, 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Jermaine Gresham, 1-yard touchdown. Defense comes out 3 and out, 7 plays, 59 yards, 3:25 off the clock. A.J. Green, 9-yard touchdown reception. Boom, the game is over. That's what not good teams do. That's what great teams do to good teams. And I thought that was sort of a difference-making moment maybe in the course of the entire season, if not just the one game.
But also getting back to something Doc talked about earlier where, yeah, we're not in the locker room and we don't have to look one game at a time. Talking to Kyle Cook yesterday, he was like, in past seasons in January, you would still look at making your travel plans the first or second week in January that you're going home. This locker room right now expects to be here through the second week in February. And I don't think I've heard a Bengals team say that before, where they're expecting to be here for the long haul and that they're going to go another 2-3 months.
And you know what? To that point, we're standing there talking to Whitworth after the game, and Cook is up there giving Whitworth running updates on, did you hear what happened to New England? Did you hear what happened? I mean, New England had the miracle win over the Browns. They're into it. I mean, they can say they're taking it one game at a time, and maybe they are. They should be. But they're also looking at it a little bit ahead. And that's obvious.
And they should, if you look at the importance of what this 2 seed could mean. I mean, you're talking about the possibility this team is 6-0 at home. They clearly play better at home. They've had 3 straight games where they've scored over 40 points at Paul Brown Stadium. The chance to have that, too, at home, you could host New England, who you've already beat at home. I mean, that is one that, boom, you do that and you're in the AFC title game. And I guess my question I want to pose to you, Lindsay, is this. You have heard a lot from the fans over the last week or 2, and really over the whole course of the season. Yeah. Would one playoff win and making it to the AFC title game make the fan base happy?
You know, I think we're at this time, a season that we've never seen before. I think we're almost over, you have to win one playoff game. The way they've been winning at home, the way they've been playing this season, the way they've overcome all the injuries on defense, you know, some on their offensive line, what they've been able to do, the expectations are so high. They were high before the season started, and they're still high now. I think that the fan base is expecting more than just that one playoff win.
Expectations are higher. Joe, do you buy that will you feel like this team took the next step with one playoff win and then a loss after what we've seen over the last 3 months? Because before the season, I think we all agreed that would probably be okay and be looked at as an advancement. But now, after what we've seen, is that different?
If you go 1 and out in the playoff, season's a failure. No doubt about it.
Right.
We've seen 2005, 2009, past 2 seasons. Division title isn't the cherry on top of the sundae anymore, to use a bad cliche, but you got to win a playoff game. They've taken steps. They got to the playoffs surprised in 11, made the consecutive playoff trips in last year, which was good. this year, first possibility of 3 straight playoff trips, first time in franchise history. Now you got to win that playoff game. You need to take that next step, because if you don't, the level of angst among this fan base, we've thought it's been bad before. Just wait.
Yeah, because that is the one star that still hangs out there is, can they win the playoff game? We'll have plenty of time to get into that and much more. I want to remind you, if you have any questions for us or for our guests tonight, you can send it to us on Twitter at #BeyondTheStripes. Also, shoot us something on Facebook, post to the Facebook page, /Cincinnati Enquirer. We'll do our best to get to it or get to you next week, but make sure you keep in contact with us. In the meantime, Dre Kirkpatrick is here, so we're going to bring him out here next segment. We want to thank everybody for coming out to the Moorline Lager House tonight. We'll be right back on Beyond the Stripes.
Do not, I repeat, do not buy a 2013 Chevy from another dealer. Not when you can get a 2014 from Joseph Chevrolet for the same price or less. Seriously, Joseph Chevrolet's 2014s are a better deal than anyone else's 2013s. $129 a month for a new Cruise? Up to $6,500 off a 2014 Silverado? Now that's a clearance sale. Don't pay more for a 2013 than a 2014. Come to Joseph Chevrolet now.
Uncle Ray.
Where should we go to eat tonight?
How are the Reds doing?
What time does the movie start?
Did you hear about the new Bengals
Check
player?
out this photo gallery.
Did you check out the bands coming to the
sure
summer
did.
Jam?
That's
great. I missed the story.
Sure, what?
If you don't read The Inquirer at Cincinnati.com, you're missing out on what everyone's talking about. Breaking news, the best local events calendar, and in-depth stories. Updated all day long. Subscribe now at Cincinnati.com/subscribe. The Inquirer at Cincinnati.com. It's what everyone's talking about.
Welcome back to Cincinnati.com Sports Beyond the Stripes. Paul Doherty, presented by JosephAuto.com. We're still here at the Moorline Lager House, and we'd like to thank Dre Kirkpatrick for joining us on the stage. Dre, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Lindsay, first thing we like to do, we get our guests here. We like to go to the Twitters, see what the Twitter questions are asking. We promise they're not angry. They're very nice today. Lindsay, what do you got for Dre from Twitter questions?
All right, I know you're still feeling that Bama loss to Auburn. I know it still hurts. Mike wants to know, are you rooting for the SEC? Are you rooting for Florida State in that championship game?
I'm probably rooting for Auburn, just to keep it in the state. I want to be selfish. I want to keep it in the state. I'm from Alabama. It's always good to just still be able to say it's in our state.
All right, so I don't know. You can get crucified for saying things like, I'm rooting for Auburn down there. I mean, that's pretty serious stuff.
Yeah, but still, I played in the SEC. I feel like the SEC is one of the best conference. So I get rooted, for going against them too. So, I want to keep it in the family, SEC.
You're from Gadsden, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to say that I know where that is, but I got no idea. I assume it's a fairly small place, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What? You don't have to call me sir, please. Nobody else does, believe me.
Absolutely not.
You chose Bama over Texas and Florida, correct?
Yes, sir.
Stop it.
No.
Given that it's a fairly small place, what would have happened had you chosen either Texas or Florida, or heaven forbid, had gone to Auburn? Would things have been a little dicey in your hometown?
Especially if I would chose Auburn. I'm up north, so I'm more around the Alabama culture, so it would have been definitely a big problem. But like I said, if I would have went to Texas, I still probably would have got the opportunity to play, but I didn't know if we would have won it. But I'm happy I chose Alabama. My heart was there, but at the same time, you still have to make the best decision for you and your family.
Dre, I want to. We were talking about Twitter questions. I did do a little quick perusing of your Twitter timeline before I came here because I just wanted to poke around and see what you had. I just want to run through a few of them that you had on here because you're not used to being up here up north and all this cold weather that's been coming around. It just says, how much do y'all think it's going to snow tomorrow? Y'all should have seen me driving here in this snow, LOL. This was the coldest practice I have ever been a part of, like really. This was my first time playing in the snow, had so much fun doing what I love. And then my favorite, just real point blank, I'm so cold. How tough has it been for you to adjust to trying to play in this kind of stuff?
It's It's not hard. It's just something different, you know. I've never been in this cold in my life, you know. I never seen snow till I got here, so it's just an adjustment that I had to make, and you know, I feel like I'm doing great. You know, I say those things, but I still also go out to walk through sometime with just a girdle on, you know, just to get used to it and you know, just build my body up and be accustomed to it.
We've already had a snowstorm, and it's December 10th. Are you over the snow?
No.
Over driving in it?
I hate the snow. I really do. I just don't like being cold. And like I said, I be driving over this one bridge. It's right here, and it'd be tough getting across because I'm not used to driving in the snow and being slick. So I drive 5-10 miles per hour. So
You probably have to go get some new clothes when you move to Ohio.
I was already prepared.
Well, it's probably a good thing they got that early practice at the bubble last Friday, considering the snow flurries and everything.
And I had checked. The day before, I asked Coach, I said, hey, we still going inside, right? He was like, yes, Dre, we're going. I said, okay.
Just, we talked to Adam yesterday in the locker room and just talking about the secondary and everything. He said if you are starting Sunday, those guys in the secondary room are going to be on you because there's a different expectation as a starter compared to coming in off the bench. Do you prepare the same way that you have, or do you prepare differently this week?
I prepare the same way, you know, because I already prepared like I'm a starter. So, you know, even in the meeting room, Coach he was playing around with me last week, trying to give me questions on formations and what those tendencies are with the receivers and the offense like to do. And, you know, so I always try to stay prepared because you never know when the guy's going to fall.
How have the veteran guys in the defensive backfield made you better? And conversely, how have you kept them sharp?
First off, they made me better because the wisdom, the adversity that they have been through, and you know, just the maturity of it. You know, those guys done been through a lot, and I'm glad to say I got a teammate full of veteran guys. But what I bring to the table, I just bring a lot of laughter, a lot of energy. Cause sometimes those guys, you know, it'd be so cold that nobody really don't want to practice, and they look for me to get them that extra spark because I guess I got
the
a lot of energy.
The warm weather guy is going to convince these guys that they got to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but you know, I just try to give them a spark.
All right. Well, one more thing before the next question. If you're driving in the snow, let me help you out a little bit since I've lived in the north my whole life. All right. 1, keep a steady speed.
Yeah.
Do not brake. All right? Whatever you do, do not slow down going up a hill. You follow me?
No.
That is the worst thing to do. You want to get somebody behind you mad at you?
Yeah.
Slow down in the snow when you're going up a
You're
hill.
going to slide down, right?
Yes, you'll start spinning, all right?
Okay.
Put the car in a lower gear.
Yeah.
Keep your speed the same. Don't brake, and don't slow down.
Well, I stay
You'll
right
thank
across
me
the
later
street.
for that.
I stay across the street. I don't got to go no hills.
All right,
So you're gonna walk the
3
practice?
minutes away.
There you go.
You're just concerned that you're going to end up behind him, and you're worried
That's
about your
right.
vehicle.
People around here drive me crazy doing that stuff.
You know what, you were talking about veterans helping you, and last year was a tough year for you. I mean, you went through a lot of stuff, didn't get it, injuries, all these things kind of kept you out. What was the toughest moment of your rookie year, and how much did those guys help you get through what was some adversity for you in your rookie year?
The toughest part probably was when my son asked me why I wasn't playing, and it kind of got me down because I have a lot of pride in what I do and how I prepare myself. So, just having high expectation coming into the year as a rookie, first round pick, and just couldn't go out and play. Couldn't get my knee. I tried to hide it and tried to, okay, coach, it's just didn't really want to say what it really was. Didn't want to own up to it, but like I said, these last 3-4 games, my knee is finally feeling healthy, and I'm moving around the way I should be.
So you feel as good as you've ever felt health-wise right now?
I'm not gonna say as good as I ever felt, but it feels better.
Yeah.
For the simple fact, I'm just still a few months out of my surgery, not even a full year yet.
More on the injuries. You did have to face injuries before you even stepped on the field last year. Despite your hamstring early in this season, it has to be nice to feel fairly healthy. And I know you said you're not 100% healthy right now, but it has to feel a little bit different going into this season and this season so far, feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, and that's one thing I learned from Terrence Newman. He's always taking care of his body. I always see him mixing something together or trying to get some, just taking care of his body. And that's one of the things that he always preached to me, just continue to take care of your body. You may be young now, but it'll catch up with you in the long run. So that's something that I'm trying to do more now.
Last 3-4 games, probably the best that you've played here. Got to sack in the Cleveland game, interception on Antonio Gates in the San Diego game. That Dallas game in the preseason didn't go well for you.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you still use that as motivation and still look at that as kind of teaching points?
Oh, yes. And Zim will never let me forget it. He said something to me slick about it today, so it's just, that was just something that I needed. I feel like every great corner had to go through something to become great. And I feel like I want to be great, so that's always going to be something that's lingering that I can always go back and learn from.
ESPN used to do something called the Budweiser Hot Seat. You familiar with that?
Somewhat.
Yeah, you're kind of young. I'm kind of old. I remember stuff like that. You probably don't.
Yeah.
Pretty close group in the defensive backfield. You, Adam, Terrence, Leon. Who, in your opinion, is the coolest of the four of you guys?
Probably Leon.
Leon is the coolest.
Yeah.
Why?
Because when you look at Leon, you don't expect him to do some of the things and say some of the things that he say. He's very smart. Like, I don't think people understand how really smart Leon is. He always have a comeback question or answer for everything you say. Like, it could be smart, it could be intelligent, it could be, anything, but he always on his toes. So I get it to Leon. He's pretty cool.
Who's the best dresser?
Me.
You
Hands
are.
down. Hands down. On the
Hands
team.
down.
Hands down.
Leon was in GQ at one point, as I recall.
I'm not. Hands down, me.
Who has the nicest ride?
Probably T-Nu. Yeah, T-Nu got a Mustang. It was the one that's fast, gone in 60 seconds.
Yep.
That thing, it's a man. That's
All
a man.
right. Who wins in playing one-on-one in basketball?
I give the Pac-Man just for the simple fact he won Mr. Basketball, so I'm gonna
Who
give it
goes
to him.
on Jeopardy and wins?
Crocker.
Crocker.
Yeah.
He wasn't an option, but we'll take that.
But I'm gonna give it to him.
All right. If your life
My life.
depended on breaking up one pass, who among the four of you guys gets that job?
Gotta give it to me.
All right. So your life now you're talking
Yeah,
about.
my life.
All right. Do you ever call Adam Pac-Man?
Every day.
You do?
Yeah.
How does he react to that?
I don't like to change up situations. A lot of people want to call him Adam. I'm calling him Pac-Man because that's who I know him as.
All right, and he's okay with, because we don't use that term anymore. If you could be anyone else but you, who would you be?
My dad.
Your dad. Why?
He's very cool. He's a pastor. He lives the right life. And he raised me. He helped me get to where I am, and he's still my coach, my coach and life coach. So I'm always going to my dad asking for encouragement and answers.
How long does it take in an average week for you to maintain your dreads?
Well, it depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I may go a month, get them done, 2 months. But my mom, she been getting on me, so I've been trying to get them done like every 2 weeks now.
Do you ever worry that they'll get pulled out during a game?
I'm not worried. I got a couple of more, so we'll just attach it to it.
Drake or
it back.
Patrick, you're off. Between the Beyond the Stripes hot seat. Sorry, I didn't mean to monopolize everything here, boys.
Welcome to the Doc and Dre show here.
Sorry.
Dr. Dre show.
I'm gonna leave now.
No, I got one more to add to that. Who is tougher to please, Nick Saban or Mike Zimmer?
Whoa.
No, I'm not answering that question.
You abstain.
I can't answer that
That means
question.
both of them are off limits.
Off
you don't,
limits.
You don't even want to try and
You
mess
can't
with
go
either
that
of
route.
them.
No, I can't answer that one.
Smart man. Smart man. That's why you still got you. Well, hey, we're not done with you yet. We've still got plenty more coming here. We got a whole other segment with Dre. We're also going to look a little bit forward to Sunday Night Football against the Steelers. And we'll get some questions in this time, I think. Anyway, we'll be right back here on Beyond the Stripes, presented by JosephAuto.com.
Chris, how you doing?
Hey, what's happening? This place looks awesome. Brand new showroom, brand new service department. Now all I need is a new cat. I'm thinking the North American Car of the Year, the ATS right here. What do you think?
Nice car, Chris, and only $299 a month. But a guy your size, you need the comfort, the technology that this car has. The XTS for only $399 a month.
For $100 more, I can do this?
$100.
I'll win that from you on the golf course. Come on, let's do it.
Compliments of Camargo Cadillac.
Where should we go to eat tonight?
How are the Reds doing?
What time does the movie start?
Did you hear about the new Bengals
Check
player?
out this photo gallery.
Did you check out the bands coming to the
shared
Summer
this
Jam
with
Festival?
you.
I just missed the story.
Sure, what? If you don't read the Inquirer at Cincinnati.com, you're missing out on what everyone's talking about. Breaking news, the best local events calendar, and in-depth stories. Updated all day long. Subscribe now at Cincinnati.com/subscribe. The Inquirer at Cincinnati.com. It's what everyone's talking about.
The Moorline Lager House is Cincinnati's premier brew pub. The restaurant features impressive lunch and dinner menus, as well as a wide selection of beer and other drinks. The Lager House is also proud to continue Cincinnati's brewing heritage by brewing their own fresh craft beer on site. Conveniently located along the riverfront, the Moorline Lager House offers spectacular views while you dine. Moorline Lager House. Celebrate the past, taste the future.
All right, welcome back to Beyond the Stripes. Paul Doctor, presented by JosephAuto.com. We're still here at the Moorline Lager House. How everybody doing out there? Smattering.
Better.
We'll try it. We got to try it again. How's everybody doing out at the Moorline Lager House tonight? These people, you just got to massage them a little bit. So Dre, still with us up here, so thank you for joining us still. You talked a little bit about the Auburn-Alabama game. You were down that Saturday in San Diego. You were in the tank a little bit. How long did it take you to get over that game?
When I got my interception.
There you go.
It changed everything.
Changed my whole mindset. Changed my whole mindset because I needed that play. I've been in the tank a little bit because, I wanted to, just make game-changing plays to help this team win. And when that play came, it was kind of like a relief, like it's coming back, So I'm just trying to get back to the right path.
You ever wear your BCS rings? Will you have your national championship rings somewhere?
I never wore my rings. Never.
Do you have them somewhere? Where do you keep them?
Oh, I keep them. My mom got them.
Yeah.
My mom got them.
Your mom's got a growing box of things at this point, right? I think every time you do something, a ball or something gets sent to mom, right?
Yeah. I gave my first ball to her, but I don't think it'd be balls everywhere, hopefully.
I want to go back to that interception. I'd like to call it the Antonio Gates interception because you pulled that ball out of his hands. I don't know how you did it because he's pretty strong, but that was a great interception. You said after the game that you kind of wanted to be left alone. You had a lot of emotions going through your head. Like you said, you haven't had a play like that in 3 years.
Yes, ma'am.
What were the emotions? What were you thinking?
I just really want to talk to my son, because he's always called me before and after the game and asked me what I'm playing and how am I going to be a factor and what's my role this week. And I just told him, he was like, Daddy, you got you one? I was like, yeah, I got one. And that was just the moment that I wanted to cherish, just to be by myself and just embrace it.
Do you have the ball?
I don't. My mom got it.
How old is your son?
He's 7.
Okay. I know we talked last year when it looked like you were about to become active for your first game. I know your dad has Sunday services. With this being a Sunday night game in Pittsburgh, is there an opportunity for him to fly up and maybe get to the game Sunday night?
He don't want to come. He said it's cold. My mom and daddy, they ain't friendly with the snow. It was 80 degrees 2 days ago back home, so they ain't used to it.
So even for your first NFL start, they
ain't coming.
They got NBC.
She said they'll watch it from TV, but they're not coming.
I'm yielding the floor. I used so much time the last segment. You guys have at it.
What has been you've moved a lot into the slot recently. You've had to kind of come in there and help with some injuries. What's been the biggest challenge for you working in the slot corner, and how is that different from other stuff that you've done before?
I mean, because you got to watch the whole field. You just can't get locked in at the corner position. It's just you and that guy. But at the nickel position, guys running across your face. I mean, it's just so much anticipation that you have to be aware of, and you just got to be alert at all times.
I feel like a lot of the rules have kind of changed in the past couple years, especially on defense and for, cornerbacks and safeties. Do you even know what pass interference is anymore?
I mean, I know, but like I said, they're not all the ways, accurate with their calls. They're not consistent with their calls. But, I don't think I get them in between the 5 yard, stay off them. That's all I know right now.
Turn around to the ball.
Yeah, turn around for the ball.
Pittsburgh, pretty good challenge this week. Antonio Brown, Manuel Sanders, Ben Roethlisberger, who's tough to bring down. Just how do you defend those guys?
Hey, like I said, we just got to go out there and continue to do what we've been doing. That's playing fundamentally sound football.
I got a couple of questions. One, given that you're a man of style, I want your opinion. I'm rocking this crazy sweater vest here. I want to know what you think of my threads. And remember, this is my show.
Hey, I like what you got going on. It's a good look for you. Good look.
It's a good look for me?
Great look.
Does it make me look like I'm about 112 years old or what?
No? Minus 100.
Minus 100?
Yeah.
I look like I'm 12.
Yeah.
Is it better to be 12 or 112? I don't know.
I say 12. You get more things when you're 12. People kind of tend to forget about you when you turn 100.
All right, I got you. Now, I got a much less important question. What do you think of the NFL's rules now that are so protective of guys' heads that guys' knees are getting shredded? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
T.J. Ward hits Gronkowski on Sunday. He was quoted as saying he wanted to hit him low because he didn't want to get fined. Now, I think the average NFL guy, if you asked him would he rather get hit in the head or hit in the knees, he'd probably say he'd rather get hit in the knees because hit in the head.
Yeah.
In the head. Because short term, he gets a concussion, he's out a week or two. He gets hit in the knees, blows up. What happened to Gronk blows out 2 ligaments, he's done for the year and maybe beyond. My question to you is, do you think it's kind of working at cross purposes here, where guys like you understand that if you want to keep from getting fined, you got to hit a guy low, whereas maybe the guy would rather be hit up high.
And it's a tough decision, for the NFL because, I think they got sued or something for all those millions of dollars. So, either way it go, it's a win-lose situation, but the hits to the knees, that's one of the worst things, that I'm seeing right now. The concussions, I don't have my fair share of concussions. I dealt with it. I got back on the field. I'm playing. The knees, Gronkowski, I feel sorry for him because now he got to sit out a whole nother year, maybe next year. It depends on how his body heals for him.
Right. All right.
Well, around here, we like to kind of mix it up a little bit. Joe and I like to scream at each other, debate a few little topics. We've got a few.
We scream
here.
at each other 7 days a week.
Yeah,
so.
It's really pretty normal. We've got a few topics we want to get into here in our latest debate. Doc tends to judge us, but I don't even know if we're going to let you do it today. You're sober. Maybe you stay out.
I've spoken too much.
You've commandeered the show. I know your name's on it, but I think we might have to kick you guys out for a minute.
We'll stand on the sidelines and watch you guys make fools
Chime
of
in if
yourselves.
you'd like. I'm
Well,
sure.
since Lindsay's in the middle, Lindsay might have to moderate this
Here we
week.
go.
So we've got our 3 debate topics, and we're going to start off with this. For you, Joe, what is the best Bengals playoff matchup for their first game, whatever that ends up being?
We assuming they're the 2nd or 3rd seed?
Whatever you want. I mean, you're putting them wherever you want. You pick the opponent of all the teams currently in the playoff picture. So throw Baltimore and Miami with everybody else that's currently in. Who would you most prefer to play if you're the Bengals right now?
I would say Kansas City, to tell you the truth. I mean, Alex Smith hasn't consistently proven he can win playoff games. You got the defense that's injured a little bit. And, I mean, Andy Reid's accomplished a lot in 1 year, but this is almost like those Bengals teams in 11 and 09. They're not used to being in the postseason. It's a new roster. They're not that tested, so I'd rather take them.
You know, you talk about knowns. I'm a knowns guy. I like to know what I'm getting myself into. I would like to play Indianapolis again if I'm the Bengals.
Yes.
You just saw what you can do against them. Their season has been spiraling over the last 6 games. They've given up 38-plus 3 times in the last 6. Without Reggie Wayne, they're lost. Andrew Luck can do some things, but you like Mike Zimmer's defense against anybody. I'll take Dre Kirkpatrick and these guys shutting them down a second time around. So I think Indy at home, you want to replicate exactly what you had. I think you'd rather have Indy. I'll take the win. So number 2, here, we're going to be going to Pittsburgh this week. Here you got Bengals at Pittsburgh. The grass will be awful. It will be torn up. It will be a complete disaster area. So, Joe, turf or grass?
I'm a grass guy. I'm a purist. I'm a traditionalist. Even if it's mud, I watched games in Cleveland for 20 years where they painted the green on the mud. It's the way God wanted football to be played, Paul.
If God wanted
football to be played on turf, he would have created field turf.
I feel like God has more important things to deal with than how football is played. But I'll say this. He doesn't?
No, he doesn't.
I'll say this. You know what I like? Athletic players like Dre Kirkpatrick making athletic plays, and they don't have to worry about falling on mud. I like watching athletes be athletes and not be subject to plodding around and your 3 yards and your painted green neon dust that you had there in Cleveland. And let's be honest, I'm a man of the community, Joe. I want other people to be able to use the facilities. You can't just subject it to 10 games a year is all you're going to get out of that beautiful stadium. No, I want other people to be able to use it because I'm all about supporting the community. And who's against that? No one's against that.
What the hell are you doing?
I'm winning.
You're pandering.
That's what I'm doing. It doesn't matter as long as I get the win. All right, number 3. We're going to Pittsburgh. Going to Pittsburgh again. Worst Pittsburgh beer. What is the worst Pittsburgh beer?
Iron City. It's swill. Enough said.
You know, I probably can't deny that much, but I have a personal agenda here because I have 12 Rolling Rocks that somehow ended up in my fridge from a party, and I refuse to drink them, and they just taunt me every single day. They're awful. They're disgusting. I want nothing to do with them. Iron City probably would be worse, but I personally, right now, I'm at a point in my life where I hate Rolling Rock.
Not from the rolling hills of Latrobe, Pennsylvania?
I don't care about the rolling hills.
Are there rolling hills in Latrobe, Pennsylvania?
There might be. I don't know what's going on in Latrobe. We're not going there, I can tell you that much. Lindsay, who won?
I want the Bengals to play the Texans, the first playoff game.
The Texans?
I know. I'm totally
That is
lying.
not an option. Haven't they been eliminated?
Yes, they have, but I think that would be the best matchup. I think I'm going to go with turf for the second one.
Yes.
And as far as the beer, Rolling Rock. So I think Paul wins.
So I win.
Paul wins because he's a
As I already
community
pronounced.
guy.
We didn't really need Lindsay to inform us I won. I think everybody here already knew that.
Doc, your thoughts?
Doc,
I checked out mentally. I'm not even listening. I'm not involved. I'm not listening. Dre and I are over here
Sorry,
having
Joe.
the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, don't worry. Well, Dre, we left you out of that, but you're about to be right in the thick of things because you don't like the snow or the cold. So obviously here we're going to subject you to that. A couple weeks ago, Clark Harris snapped a ball off Joe Reedy's face, and I kind of maybe instigated it a little bit. Since then, they've been waiting to get me back, and I'm going to allow some people here to throw snowballs at me. We're going to give you a snowball packing and throwing lesson since you're not real familiar.
All right.
Did you bring a coat?
Yeah.
I don't need no coat.
The man doesn't have a coat. We'll have to find him a coat. But don't worry, we're going to do all of that. We'll be right back with snowballs at my face. So hopefully this goes all right. We'll be right back on Beyond the Stripes, presented by JoeSavato.com.
Chris, how you doing?
Hey, what's happening? This place looks awesome. Brand new showroom, brand new service department. Now all I need is a new cat. I'm thinking the North American Car of the Year, the ATS right here. What do you think?
Nice car, Chris, and only $299 a month. But a guy your size, you need the comfort, the technology that this car has. The XTS for only $399 a month.
For $100 more, I can do this?
$100.
I'll win that from you on the golf course. Come on, let's do it.
Compliments of Camargo Cadillac.
Where should we go to eat tonight?
How are the Reds doing?
What time does the movie start?
Did you hear about the new Bengals
Check
player?
out this photo gallery.
Did you check out the
I
bands
follow.
coming to
I
the
seriously
cinema?
did.
This is great. I just missed the story.
Sure, what?
If you don't read the Inquirer at Cincinnati.com, you're missing out on what everyone's talking about. Breaking news, the best local events calendar, and in-depth stories. Updated all day long. Subscribe now at Cincinnati.com/subscribe. The Inquirer at Cincinnati.com. It's what everyone's talking about.
The Moorline Lager House is Cincinnati's premier brew pub. The restaurant features impressive lunch and dinner menus, as well as a wide selection of beer and other drinks. The Lager House is also proud to continue Cincinnati's brewing heritage by brewing their own fresh craft beer on site. Conveniently located along the riverfront, the Moorline Lager House offers spectacular views while you dine. Moorline Lager House. Celebrate the past, taste the future.
All right, we are back. At least I am back. I am in the warm, proving that I am really the only smart person on this television show. Anyway, last Sunday, Terrence Newman became the latest Bengal to get hurt. A knee sprain will keep him out this week at least. Meanwhile, safety George Iloka is under a concussion protocol, may or may not play on Sunday night. This is getting ridiculous. Props to the personnel people for loading the team with depth, especially on defense. It'd be nice, though, if the Bengals didn't have to test that depth like every week. They are approaching the point where a loss without injuries might be better than a win with them. That's not good for the Bengals or for the league. Injuries seem rampant this year, and no one knows why. That hurts the quality of play and could have undue influence on the postseason. Newman becomes the fifth Bengals defensive starter to spend time watching from the sidelines. They still have a really good defense, but imagine how good it would be if Geno Atkins, Leon Hall, and Robert Gathers were still playing. Sunday, the Bengals play at Pittsburgh. Last year's game up there was take no prisoners. A win would be good for the Bengals, but a loss with no injuries would be almost as important. In the midst of a playoff race, that's a damning thing to say. Meanwhile, everyone else is outside throwing snowballs at Paul Dehner's face, so we'll take you out there.
As you know, we're here with Dre Kirkpatrick, Joe, and Paul. Dre has told us he doesn't like the cold. So we're going to have a little fun with this snow that we got from this snowstorm. We're going to teach him how to pack a snowball. And we're going to throw it at Paul.
Well, first of all, we need to point out something that happened here. We came out to wait for this, and Dre said, well, I'm not waiting out here. He went back inside because he couldn't wait out here for the 3 minutes that it would take. But that's all right, Dre. We're going to teach you how to properly make a snowball first. Joe, you're very familiar with snowballs. I think at some point in time growing up as a child in Cleveland, you threw them at the opponent, I'm sure. So you can show the proper technique.
You ready?
I think we got to both show it here.
Yes.
I mean,
Let's
the
get down
key
here.
is you need a lot of snow. You got to really get in there, and your hands are gonna be really cold. By the way, you got to prepare yourself, and you got to really pack it down as much as you can. Okay, kind of pop on top there. Make sure you get it down real tight in the middle, and then see what you got. See what you got in there. You got a little bit.
Make sure it's really hard.
Because when you throw
yes.
it, you don't want it to break up once you throw it. So maybe if you think you need a little more, go get a little more.
And at this point, you start to lose feeling in your hand.
It look cold out here now.
All right. What does Joe got? Joe, do you have a good one?
Oh, yeah.
That is a good one. How do your hands feel? That's what really matters right now.
I mean, they froze. They numb. It froze.
All right, so here's what I'll allow. Lindsay, do you want to throw? You can even throw my snowball. So here's the moment of truth, where I will allow each of you one shot at me, okay? You better make it count, because if you miss, you're not getting another one. I'm walking out here. You either get it or you don't.
Fire it, Lindsay.
All right.
Fire it.
All right.
We're going to get us
One shot.
Oh, no.
Here we go. One shot. Ready? This is it. Oh!
Your turn, Dre.
Oh!
All right, so I need some help with the snowball packing.
You got the best shot. Not to the face. You're a kind man.
All right, we're cold. Dre is cold. He knows how to build a snowball now. Back to you, Doc.
I thought they said one shot. Seemed like Paul got drilled there pretty good. Anyway, that's it for us tonight. Our thanks, as always, to josephauto.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Paul Daner, at Joe Reedy, at Lindsey Patterson, at Inquirer Doc. Our guest next week will be Giovanni Bernard. Thanks again, everyone. Welcome to Beyond the Stripes. See you later.